Here's little Moomin troll, none other, hurrying home with milk for mother. Quick, Moomin troll, it's nearly night. Run home while there's a bit of light. Don't hang around in woods like these. Strange creatures lurk between the trees. The wind begins to howl and hiss. Now guess what happens after this.
The book about Mumin, Mimble and Little Me was published in 1952. And in Swedish, the title is Hur gick det sen? And this Hur gick det sen, what happened then, is a sort of key to the book, because the key is surprise, you might say, because it's built on cliffhangers and on holes, cutouts in the book. So through the hole from one page, you can see a little glimpse on the next page. And when you turn the page as this is a sort of cliffhanger, perhaps, the thing that you first thought that you saw turns out to be something else. The 1950s were wild times for Tove Jansson. At that time she was negotiating with a syndicate in England of publishing a strip series about the Mumins. She was about to becoming a sort of mega star at that time. She wrote several Mumin books and this picture book, and she had several exhibitions, and then also the strip series that became a huge project for her. So she was constantly working. She had a book when she was small, when she was a child. It was a book by the Swedish author, picture book artist Elsa Beskow. There was a terrifying troll in this book, and her mother, she stuck a piece of paper over this troll because Tove was scared of the troll. But when they were reading the book, the mother just did like this to show the troll and then back. And Tove was a little bit frightened every time. So this was a sort of exciting moment for her. She planned the book very carefully, and it is very smart. It's a very smart planning. And she made some sort of mini models of the book with holes in it and the figures moving from page to page. And she was thinking also of the colors, because the book was printed in three color printing. And she was thinking out a way to present more colors than expected on the pages. So for example, if you have red and blue on one page, and through the hole you might see also yellow and violet, for example. So then she created a sort of illusion of more colors than it actually was presented.
Hemulin, with a vacuum hose, had got some house dust up his nose. Spring cleaning, though it wasn't spring, was Hemulin's most favourite thing. Disaster struck, his greedy hoover sucking hard enough to move a mountain, swallowed both our friends into its tube. Around the bends both Mumin troll and Mimble flew. Mumin troll's milk was sucked up too. He shouted through the gunge and fluff, "Oh mother, help! I've had enough!"
It's about horror. And in Mumin troll and Mimble, they are sort of swept in this vacuum cleaner. But little Me, she rescues them. This is a sort of rebirth, you might say. She's like sort of midwife, and she has a big scissor and she cuts the vacuum cleaner up. And also this scene is quite interesting because I think it reminds also about Little Red Riding Hood. At the end, when she and her grandma is in the belly of the wolf, and the hunter comes and he rescues them, he gives them a new birth, so to way. He also cuts up the belly of the wolf. But it's also a nightmare. I mean, a nightmare for the little child, the vacuum cleaner, at least at the time when Tove Jansson made this book, because at that time the vacuum cleaners were very, very big. This was a sort of, could be very scary for a little child, but the grown-up could see all this. Freud could make a Freudian interpretation of the whole thing.
Welcome home, Mumin, safe and sound. And welcome, friends, come gather round. What a relief it is to tell a tale that ends supremely well. Where lovely Mumin Mama sat collecting berries in a hat. Time for a feast, said Mama. Drink. Scrumptious delights all around, I think. A shell, a rose, a fresh-baked bun. Oh, I'm so glad to see my son. And gorgeous milk. There's milk galore. Now guess what happens just once more.
I think it's an exquisite book. She constantly wanted to transform herself and her art and her literature. And this is a book about transformation and how reality transforms itself before our eyes. And she had a sort of hunger for a new aesthetic, and this was a new aesthetic. In many ways, because of the colors, they were considered as bold colors. They are quite dark, some of the colors. And one interesting thing is that the color green doesn't exist in her book. And this was a surprise for many reviewers, and also perhaps a shock for some. But most of the reviewers considered it as an exquisite book. And one Swedish reviewer, she wrote, "This is no book for colorless people," she wrote.